All right, guys, Mr. Butt here. I am super excited to be talking with you today about one of my favorite artists of all time, and I'm somebody who loves art. His name, as I'm sure you've seen from the videos, Jean-Michel Basquiat. So here are a couple pictures of him, and before we can get into his art, real quick, let's run through the past 800 years of art. This is what art used to look like. A lot of you guys have seen this picture in the middle called the Mona Lisa. Art used to be sort of this unemotional thing where people just painted the best they could. Now, could I paint like this? Heck no. Could any of you guys? Man, if you should, drop out of school and I'll be your art dealer. But this looks nice and it looks tough, but I don't get any emotion from it. I don't feel anything. I don't feel a lot from it. Now, a couple hundred years later, in about the late 1800s, we have a guy called Claude Monet from France. Maybe some of you guys have heard of Monet. Maybe some of you guys have seen this picture or this painting. This is a painting of a bridge that still exists in France, and it's over a little creek with some flowers on it. Now, is that exactly what it looks like? No. Is this exactly what lily pads look like on a pond? No. What do you think people in France thought when they saw these paintings by a guy named Monet? They thought they were garbage. They thought they were trash. They said, "Hey, this guy couldn't paint them like this. He couldn't paint them like they look. They don't look like that. When I look at this bridge, it doesn't look like that." But he wanted people to feel something. That's why what his style was called impressionism. He wanted to create an impression on people. So the important thing to remember is that Monet, who I'm sure some of you guys have probably heard of, and I bet your teachers have, and I bet your parents have, in France, they all thought he was trash when he started painting. Same thing with this guy, Vincent van Gogh. He was from the Netherlands, but he lived in France, and he painted this looking outside the window of a hospital room. What we can see is we can see some stars, we can see the moon, and some swirls here, some paintbrush strokes, and a cypress tree here sort of swirling in the wind. We can almost feel the wind swirling, and we can feel the warmth, almost the yellow strokes in the sky and on the mountaintops and hillsides. We can feel certain things, but when you look outside a window at night, does it look like that at all? No. This looks like a cartoon compared to that. So guess how many paintings Vincent van Gogh sold in his entire life? Zero. He didn't sell a single one. He sent some to his brother Theo, but he didn't sell a single one. He was basically homeless. His brother was sending him money to buy paint. He was totally before his time. People thought these paintings were garbage, were absolute trash. Now this painting, gosh, maybe probably $500 million dollars if somebody had it. But now we get to Basquiat. Basquiat, when I look at this painting, some people think it's trash. And just the same way some people thought that was trash. Some people thought that was trash, and some people think this is trash. That's the beauty of art. We all like different things, and we all have different sensibilities. But when I look at this painting, I look at this guy, and I think this guy's putting his arms up like, I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. I'm lost. This dog looks angry. I see his teeth. I see his tail up. I see his legs straight. When I showed my wife this painting, she said, "This guy looks pretty happy, even though he has kind of a scary face. We've got happy colors here. He's got his dog. The dog looks like it's wagging its tail. So he's kind of happy." So I happen to know from reading a book on Basquiat that this was one of the only paintings he ever talked about where he said, "This painting shows both of me. It shows the confused me, where I'm putting my arms up, I'm saying, I don't know what's going on, and the angry me. I'm angry about lots of things." But my wife is not wrong. She can draw different conclusions from it, just like we could from a story. As long as you use evidence, you can draw conclusions all you want, and you should do. Our next painting from Basquiat, we see a lot of usage of words. Basquiat loved to use words in his art. I would like to encourage you, but not say that you have to use words in your art. Sometimes he paints things that he feels or that he sees or that he wants you to see. Sometimes he uses words. Both are okay and both are interesting. This painting is called Hollywood Africans, as you can see at the top. He was an African American and he had parents from Haiti and from Puerto Rico. So he knew three languages and he had a lot of different thoughts about whether or not he was American and how he was treated, and his skin was a little bit darker than white people. And so I'm not going to delve into all the words on here. You guys can check out some slides, but he had a lot of thoughts on that. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of thoughts that you can use words to express. Now, do you have to use words? No, definitely not. Do you have to paint exactly like Basquiat? No, definitely not. But a quote I want you guys to see is that Pablo Picasso said, some of you guys may know Picasso. If you don't, it's okay. But he was a very famous painter. He said, it took me 4 years to paint like Raphael. So Raphael used to paint like these guys. Raphael was a Renaissance artist. He used to paint like that. So he said, it took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to paint like a child. So what is important is not that you are great at painting. What is important is that you can create art that represents how you feel, because nobody can argue with that, because nobody else is you. You are you and nobody else is you. So what I want you guys to do today is with your pastels is on your paper, create art that is you. If you want to use words, you can. If you want to paint like Basquiat, go for it. If you don't, if you think Basquiat's garbage, paint like yourself. Paint like you. Maybe in 30 years people will say, "Oh, this is like that Horizon student." Maybe you'll create your own style. Go for it. But think about painting how you feel. If you would like to use crayons or markers or pencils or whatever, go for it as long as it's okay with your teacher. Um, Also, make sure these are art to remember projects. So when you make your label or when you affix your label, put your label on the back of your painting, put it on the back top left corner. Okay? So make sure to do that before you leave. But also, one more thing before you guys go, if you're feeling intimidated or scared, like, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to do this is what a 7-year-old did. Okay. So this might be a good roadmap to how to do it. So the 7-year-old first, paint the background. So you can use different colors for how you feel. Paint the background. Just whatever colors you want. Blue can mean sad, red can mean angry, yellow can mean happy. Go for it. Next, the figure or the main point. Doesn't have to be a person, but just your main point of the painting. Next, you can fill it in. Now, again, do you have to do any of this? Heck no. If I told you you had to do all this step by step, Basquiat would be very upset with me. So I'm not going to do that. All I want you guys to do is have fun and express yourself. Go for it. See you guys later.